If you've been following every twist in the case of Lily and Jack Sullivan, you know how impossible it has felt to trace two little footprints that seem to vanish into thin air. In the weeks since their disappearance, search crews have scoured more than 5 square kilometers of rugged Nova Scotia woods, invested hundreds of volunteer hours, and poured over thousands of video clips. And yet, until recently, the one thing the RCMP appeared to lack was a bona fide eyewitness. Now that has changed, but with it comes new questions about why this person's account didn't surface until now. Before we dive into what this development might mean, if you're dedicated to seeing this story through to its conclusion, please hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an update. When a fresh lead drops, like this one, we post it as soon as we can, because every minute, every detail, can determine whether the next step brings us closer to answers or merely circles back to frustration. The new witness, whose identity remains protected for their safety, came forward in late July after seeing renewed media coverage calling for anyone with information to speak up. According to sources familiar with the RCMP's confidential briefings, this individual reported observing 2 small figures near a disused railway corridor just after daybreak on May 2nd, the very morning Lily and Jack vanished. The witness's description aligns eerily with the children's known clothing: a flash of pink in the distance and 2 little boots stepping carefully over gravel. They also noted the direction the figures headed, pointing toward a hidden trail that investigators have now marked for a new, specialized search. Until this moment, public reporting suggested no one outside the family or immediate search teams had seen Lily and Jack alive. So when I first heard about the witness, I was skeptical. Was this another rumor, another unverified tip in a long line of dead ends? But multiple attendees at a recent, closed-door RCMP briefing confirmed the witness had been interviewed, polygraphed, and then placed into a safe house setting with family liaisons. The RCMP's major crime unit treats every new eyewitness the way they treat physical evidence, with scrutiny, cross-checks, and a readiness to pivot their entire strategy if the account holds up. That pivot appears imminent. Investigators have already dispatched a small tactical team, comprising search and rescue technicians, forensic analysts, and canine units, to comb the railway embankment and the overgrown trail the witness described. They've synchronized drone flights to sweep overhead at dawn when temperatures are cooler, enhancing the odds of picking up heat signatures, while scent tracking dogs follow the earthbound scent lane. In a case where initial ground searches turned up only a couple of boot impressions near the pipeline, this feels like a shift from broad sweeps into a precise, targeted investigation. Of course, questions remain. Why didn't this person come forward sooner? Some neighbors speculate the witness hesitated, fearing involvement or not realizing the significance of what they saw. Others worry that bureaucratic red tape delayed the follow-up. A local resident told me off the record that the witness had tried to contact police via Crime Stoppers in early June, but was told the tip line was overwhelmed. If so, that speaks to a critical gap. When public services handling tips become overloaded, vital leads can slip through the cracks. Another layer to consider is the timeline. We've long worked with an official narrative that Lily and Jack vanished in under 20 minutes. No voices heard. No clothing found beyond that initial footprint and blanket fragment. No dashcam recordings capturing them beyond the yard. But now we have a claim they were seen moving confidently along a corridor on the far side of the tracks. If that is verified, it means they potentially traveled far beyond the RCMP's original search grid while teams were still combing the yard perimeter. That would require investigators to rethink not just where, but when those critical 20 minutes ended and what obstacles the children, or someone with them, might have navigated. I reached out to Mounties through their press office for an official statement on the Eyewitness. They confirmed that a witness whose account had not previously been part of the investigation has now been interviewed extensively and that operation plans have been updated accordingly. However, they declined to specify whether the witness saw the children themselves or something else, a vehicle, an adult figure, or perhaps only hearsay passed along to them. The nuance matters. A direct sighting of the children would be vastly different from hearing someone call out or seeing a car at an odd hour. Public reaction has been mixed. On social media, many voices welcome the news, expressing renewed hope. Finally, someone saw them. reads one comment under a global news story. Others, more cynical, pointed to the lag time. If this was real, why publish it only now? A third faction worries about stirring more fear than hope. The more dramatic turns a case takes, the more it can consume both the community and the family, drawing in sensational headlines rather than careful, measured reporting. Yet in cases like this, time is measured in hearts, not hours. Lily and Jack are still 6 and 4, respectively. Every day they remain missing robs them of childhood moments, school, friends, family, and robs their loved ones of the chance to hold them close. So while procedural questions about tip lines and response times are valid, they can't overshadow the human imperative to find these children. Beyond the new Eyewitness, other investigative threads continue. The pink blanket is still under forensic review, now tested for any trace DNA or soil markers that may link it to a vehicle tire, a different location, or even a secondary individual. Police have re-examined that single pair of footprints with high-resolution photography, hoping to match tread patterns to a specific boot brand, a detail that could identify whether it was Jack's boot or something unrelated. Digital analysts are re-downloading and re-extracting data from local home surveillance systems, looking for images previously obscured by low light or turned angles. On the community front, volunteers have refined their search tactics as well. In July, K9 handlers trained neighborhood dogs to detect human scent in colder rain-soaked conditions, when normal house dogs might struggle. Local geocaching clubs joined in, using GPS waypoints to ensure no patch of forest is overlooked twice. And conservation officers with expertise in marine shoreline searches are paddling small boats along the Millbrook River, just in case someone mistook it for a shortcut or someone else led the children to water. The RCMP has added these volunteer efforts to its official mapping system, structuring search data in a single geospatial database that integrates official and civilian observations. That level of coordination between police and the public is vital, especially in such a sprawling and dense environment. Yet it also raises the question of oversight. How are these volunteer tags verified? Who ensures that a volunteer's reported find, like a child-sized boot scuff, is accurately recorded, vetted, and not a false lead? These process questions go to the heart of modern policing in rural areas, where resources are stretched and volunteer goodwill is both a lifeline and a liability. When a video titled RCMP revealed a new eyewitness but kids still missing, no action taken quickly, lands in your feed, it taps into deep anxiety about institutional trust. Some people will see the new eyewitness as proof that the RCMP is leaving no stone unturned. Others will see it as evidence that the force is reactive rather than proactive, waiting for public pressure before following up. For the Sullivan family, however, these debates are less about protocols than about rescue. I spoke with a family friend who asked to remain anonymous, who said, "We just want them home. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. If a neighbor, a volunteer, or the RCMP themselves find Lily and Jack, that's what we care about. We care about them stepping through the door again." That sentiment echoes around every candlelit vigil and every post on social media. So as RCMP teams ready themselves to retrace the witnesses' described route, and as civilian volunteers prepare to back them up, the central question remains unchanged. Were those the children in the footage? Or was it someone else entirely? A stray animal? A passerby? Another family's child? Until the evidence is publicly unveiled through court-authorized releases or measured police statements, the community is left to wonder. If you have any insight into activity near the railway corridor on the morning of May 2nd, or if you recall sightings of 2 small children in that area, please contact the RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060 or Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. You can remain anonymous. Your testimony could be the piece that cements the timeline and leads search teams to that hidden trail. No matter how many months have passed, every fresh lead is a spark of hope. So please, share this update with anyone who might know something. Let your friends and neighbors know that the case is far from closed, and keep Lily and Jack Sullivan in your thoughts. It's in those collective memories and shared concerns that the pathway to answers often lies. Until we hear that familiar laughter again, We will continue to follow every tip, analyze every clip, and press for transparency. And we'll keep bringing you each critical milestone as soon as we can confirm it. So hit subscribe and ring that bell, because you never know when the next breakthrough will arrive.